Thank you all for coming. This is actually the first time I get to welcome everybody, so I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited that it's Breakthrough because this is actually one of my favorite events. I mean, this is the event where you get to learn about a lot of new stuff that's coming up and how it can actually affect our day-to-day lives, and you get a little bit of inspiration from some pretty smart people out there doing some pretty cool stuff and who are sort of just forging a path ahead for us. And so for me, I always like that. This is sort of brings out the entrepreneurial spirit in all of us. I know we have our daily lives that we have to attend to each and every day, but gosh, isn't it nice to just think about what could possibly be happening in the future? And that's what Breakthrough is. It sort of embodies that spirit and really tries to celebrate that. And this time we actually have a Next Wave showcase, which we've been working on for a few years here, that really helps to award companies that are doing new and different things. And so we have a lot of great companies this year with some help from DMR Partners, who you'll see later. And I'm really excited to see those. We've got some good, cool stuff coming. So I'm going to do some housekeeping items. We have a really good event. We got some great speakers. I want to make sure you are aware of all the things that you can and cannot do here. So for you marketers, make sure you're at those sponsored presentations. It's those sponsors that help us put this whole thing on, let us come to such a great resort. I mean, Austin is one of the best resorts we come to. It allows us to have all the food and drink that you guys get to consume each and every night and have fun. So make sure, marketers, you're at those meetings every morning. Otherwise, we won't have as many sponsors. So we went on to that next slide. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Summit app. We do have a Summit app. Real quick. The one-to-one function on the Summit app is not working right now. We have changed our one-to-one software, so don't get frustrated with the app. It is not linked yet. If you are having problems with your one-to-one sessions and you're having problems getting people meetings set up, go see us at the registration desk. We're ready to help you there. If at the one-on-ones later today, you're not getting the things done the way you need to, just see us at the registration desk. We have a couple of people there just specifically solely to work on this. So again, it's new technology for us. We're pushing forward. We're trying to do some new things. This is actually the first time we have a matchmaking system. So if you guys haven't done this already, go back into the one-to-one system and put your interests in. And what we do is we run matchmaking, and it'll actually pair you up with vendors and or marketers that are interested in the same thing. So if you're interested in video, we'll pair you up with Brightroll. It's sort of how it works. But everything else works on the mobile app. If you want to connect with somebody, you said, hey, you know, I met a really cool guy yesterday and I want to actually meet him. You go down there to People Search and you can find him. It's all based off of this summit. So you're not going to be looking for other people at other summits. You'll be looking for people at this summit, and you can connect with them right there, and it'll send them a message right through the app. So go ahead and use that app. It works outside of the one-to-one function. The agenda's on there. Everything else is on there. Okay. It isn't without our advisory board that we can put this together. These guys help us identify what content we want to have on stage, what type of sponsors we want at these events, who are the companies that we want present in the audience. Without these guys, this event isn't as good as it can be. And so I want to please, real quick, give a round of applause for our advisory board. They do a lot of hard work and help Catherine and Jenny out a lot on making sure that this is a great event for us. All right, this is the most important thing. We all want to stay connected, obviously. The password here is DataLogics. Now I'm going to have to say some something real quick. We all have like 3 or 4 devices, and when everybody has 3 or 4 devices connected on the Wi-Fi, it chugs. So if I could have you guys just make sure you're not connected with every single one of your devices, it'll be a much better experience for us. I mean, think about all the people in this room all trying to access the internet at the same time. I don't care how much bandwidth we buy, it's just never going to be enough. So we need a little bit of your help to make sure that the Wi-Fi experience is as good as it can be. And of course, we are at a Breakthrough Summit. We are using digital media. Make sure you tag everything with the hashtag iMedia Summit. That way we can actually see the conversation, and we can have a joint conversation back and forth. We have people in the audience that are actually going to be conversing with you if you're putting that hashtag on there. So make sure you always put the hashtag iMedia Summit. You don't have to put breakthrough. You don't have to do any of that. And of course, I wouldn't be right if I didn't plug our upcoming events. So here you go. We have the Agency Summit coming up in Scottsdale, Brand Summit in February, and we have a couple of new summits this year, or this coming up in this calendar year. The Content Summit, which is TV, video, and social put together. I'm really excited about this one. This is really the convergence of all of these things that we've been working on for a very long time coming together in one summit. We also have the Commerce Summit. This is brand new to us as well. So in late June, we'll be talking about commerce and how e-tail and retail meet, and how technology is involved in that. And then, of course, our third annual Agency Awards. So the voting is now open on iMediaConnection.com. Go there and vote for the winners. We have finalists in 10 different categories. We have a couple of new categories this year, including multicultural marketing and digital out-of-home. Go vote as many times as you want for the people that you want to win, and then come to December agency event and see the winners. Myself and Bethany will be hosting those awards. And then I'm also proud to announce that we have, just for you guys here, you probably got this in your welcome email, but I want to restate it. US Time Spent with Media from eMarketer, one of our research partners, actually our research partner. If you go to eMarketer.com/go/iMedia Breakthrough, you can download it for free. So I'm really happy that eMarketer did this for us. And we'll go on. So, without any further ado, I want to give you the rest of this content, the rest of the summit content. But first, I want to introduce Adam Broitman. He is somebody that I've met, oddly enough, at a breakthrough event about 6 years ago. Since that time, we have been on panels together, we've been at other events together. He sort of embodies the whole idea of what breakthrough is, and this spirit of entrepreneurialism. He's been at agency side, he's been an entrepreneur, and he's now at MasterCard. And he is a funny guy, doesn't have as much hair as I do, but he is fun to listen to and to interact with. And if you get a chance to sit down and have a drink with him, you won't be disappointed. Everybody, give it up for Adam Broitman.
I just want you to listen to the Who for a second while I get some water. All right, so how many people know who those guys were that were up there? These guys right here. I really hope you do, or else I'm going to feel kind of old. All right. So Catherine and I were actually having a conversation about what the topic of this engagement would be. And, you know, we got to the point, this is the Breakthrough Summit, we got to the point where I asked the question, you know, in a sense, have we broken through already? Because it feels like every year there is one topic, right? There's this one thing that we need to talk about, right? We need to talk about social, we need to talk about mobile. What is the thing that year, well, this year, what is that one thing, right? We don't have a Second Life this year, and that's, Chris Aarons will never let me forget that. It's a kind of a side joke, but we don't have that one thing this year. So we're going to raise the bar a little bit here and talk about something that I refer to as the digital value ecosystem. Okay, is everybody cool with that? But first, I want to welcome everyone to Austin. How awesome is this place? How many people made the rookie mistake of drinking too much last night, by the way, and are very hungover? They're probably in their rooms right now. All right, tonight's the night, or tomorrow night, you know. Be hungover for the flight home. But I want to thank the folks at iMedia for always bringing us to the lap of luxury, right? And I've been to a lot of these conferences, and I really love the iMedia conferences the best. It's great to see all of you in your casual attire and have personal conversations and actually get to sit down and talk about meaningful things. So first and foremost, thanks to the iMedia team spread out through here. Over the years, I've learned so much through these events, and I've grown personally and professionally. So I want to thank them, and I want to thank all of you. So let's jump right in, shall we? Can you guess who that is? So as I mentioned, I have been to 13 iMedia summits. I've been through 7 breakthrough summits, and that is one giant head for a 5-year-old. Look at me, look at me. That's me right there. My head is the same size now as it was when I was 5. I seem to have grown into it. And thank you, Mom, for the outfit. It's, I don't know what she was thinking, but so I've been in a lot of cool shops over the years. I've also started a few of my own. The one on the left, Circus, was acquired, so good on me. The one on the right actually is breathing its last breath. And you know, I learned a lot from losing, right? From going through an experience where we didn't win. So my advice to you as you're growing is go out there and be a loser, right? It could be very effective. So I wanted to reinvent myself as a corporate guy, a brand guy, and now I work for MasterCard. And you know, it's not really that much different. I thought it was going to be a big culture shock, but it's not that much different. I mean, you know, I have to dress a little bit more like my father. And yes, that is my father right there. My mother's a very lucky lady. Come on, that was a good one. I've been working on that joke for weeks. It's all in the timing. But we're not here to talk about me, of course. Unless anyone really wants to, we could hit the bar and do that. But no, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about something that I refer to as the digital value ecosystem. All right? So I feel like we've reached this inflection point, right? You know, we've done social, we've done mobile, we've done search, and we've reached this inflection point where, as I said earlier, we need to think more holistically, right? So a lot of times in the past, there's been this one shiny object, this one shiny digital advertising object that we fixated on. And now we need to think more about efficient systems than we do specific tactics, right? So how many people are going to get the Xbox One, by the way? I know I am. I'm very excited. We need to think about efficient systems. Another topic I'm going to be talking about is what I refer to as the post-disruption era. So as I said, what once made us unique and kind of special, right? The social media guru, the search guru, we're kind of expected to know these things already, right? We're expected to be experts in mobile and social and search, and we need, again, to think about the entire value ecosystem and what it is that we bring to the table that's different to make us truly breakthrough, right? It's a different time than years past. So let's just define our terms for a minute, right? I mentioned the post-disruption era, right? So here you see the printing press, right? Obviously an invention that broke through and changed a lot of things. But the fact of the matter is, it's not the printing press itself that you need to focus on when you want to look at the importance here, right? It's not the technology itself. It's the socioeconomic and religious climates and what happens after the printing press, right? So when the printing press gets in the hands of everyday people, the real innovation here, beyond the invention, is everyone having the ability to read, right? That's the real innovation. So we need to look beyond just the inventions and the technologies. And I think this industry is actually, you know, we've done a lot of that where we fixate on things. So this is the hyperflow of history here. I'll blow that up for you so you can read it. And it ties the Reformation, the scientific revolution, back to a technology. So you have invention, but the innovation actually happens when the invention moves towards the hands of the everyday person, right? So why do I bring this up? Well, over the next couple of days, I want everyone to think in this way, right? I want everyone to expand your minds just a bit, right? We're not at work anymore. You're not at your desk, right? You can think a little bit above what you do every day. So break out of your everyday processes, and that's where the real breakthrough thinking happens, right? So as you're meeting different vendors and partners and other agencies, break out of your everyday and think about the bigger picture of communications in the media landscape. And I promise you'll get the most out of this summit. I know that I have over the years. So this is here what I refer to as the cycle of innovation. And as I spoke about with the printing press, right, you have invention, which disrupts an ecosystem, and then you have the post-disruption era, which we're going to talk about, and that's your opportunity to innovate. I feel right now we're in this era where we have all of these great tools, right? Over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, all of these inventions have been brought to us, and we've used them in various ways, and now we have this great tool set to do really innovating campaigns. And this thing spins and spins and spins, and there's always new technologies. Here we have a couple of slides from our good friend Ray Kurzweil, who spoke here a couple of years back. You'll see this is the mass use of inventions, and the exponential growth of technology is out of control at this point, right? But the real important thing to note here is that it's not the nodes, right? It's not necessarily the invention or the adoption of the telephone. It's what happens in between these spaces. It's what we do with them that is truly innovative, right? It's not the technologies themselves. I think people tend to fixate on the technology itself. So we're looking at things like Google Glass, right? And everyone's focusing on what it is specifically. But it's these periods after that are the time when people actually innovate. So let's talk a little bit about innovation. Can someone define innovation for me? I want to get one definition from someone here. Just shout it out. Can I get one? Anyone? Nobody. I heard some interesting things. So I hear this word thrown around more than any other word in our industry, innovation. And then I ask people, can you define what you mean by that? This is a really innovative solution. This is going to change everything. But people don't have a readily available definition for what it means, right? And I think that this is a problem. So I would encourage everyone to think about what innovation means to you, because people use it ad nauseum, right? I define innovation as creativity with a job to do, right? Innovation does not equal technology, right? It's creativity with a job to do. So we'll set the stage in terms of the definition of innovation. And it was innovation that brought me to MasterCard. When I first went to MasterCard and I saw all the innovative things happening, it was what made me want to work there in the first place. So I want to tell you a little bit about MasterCard before we go any further. And I think that I'll probably open up your eyes to some new things in terms of what MasterCard is. So the first thing is that MasterCard is not a bank. I think a lot of people think of MasterCard as a big financial institution. I get pitched all the time, well, we work with Chase and we work with Citibank, and it's like, well, those are great partners, but we're not a bank. MasterCard is a technology company. When you think about it, when you want a MasterCard, who do you go to get your MasterCard? Do you call MasterCard? No, you go to the bank, right? We are in every way a technology company building some of the safest, most secure payment systems in the world. So if you don't believe me on this, I'm going to show you a little what's going on in MasterCard Labs and some of the new innovations that we're working on. So let's roll the first video.
MasterCard's built an awesome network across the globe over the last 45 years, and we still act like a startup.
Hi, we're here at the MasterCard Innovation Showcase, and I'm going to actually take you through a new product conceived in labs. It's called Shop This with MasterPass. It enables consumers to purchase physical goods directly within digital content.
I'm here today to show you in-seat shopping with Quicker. Quicker is an easy-to-use platform that enables new ways to sell and shop using a smartphone or a tablet.
I want to show you a new cool payment experience on Google Glass that's powered by existing MasterCard services. The application that I'm going to show you here is called Quicker, and what it does is it makes it convenient for consumers to pre-order food, get food to their seat in the stadium like in Yankee Stadium, and for the merchant it creates efficiencies and also creates transaction opportunities.
At MasterCard, we're working with governments around the world to take programs such as social programs and procurement from cash and check to electronic payments.
So that's our network. It gives us the ability to have all these various innovations that you'll see today.
So are we a bank or are we a technology company? Another thing that MasterCard is a network, a really, really big network. Remember the movie The Social Network where I should have actually looked this up beforehand. He says something like, you know what's really cool, not a million, he says a billion, something like that, right? Well, you know what's really, really cool is 2 billion. So 2 billion cards in market. We have an enormous network and we have an enormous ability to reach people around the world. So a technology company and a network. Again, we're not a bank. So what campaign comes to mind when you think MasterCard? This is a tough question. Exactly. Arguably, not arguably, the best brand campaign ever, and I'm not biased at all. So in addition to being the best brand campaign ever, I actually think of Priceless as the first social media marketing campaign. And this is not actually something that we talk about internally, but it's my own personal kind of idea of what Priceless is. You see, Priceless puts the user at the center, right? There are some things that money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. So that's the first thing, putting the user at the center. And in my talk today, talking about this digital value ecosystem, putting the user at the center is key. But in addition to that, you'll actually see in the campaign tactics that a lot of you probably use on Facebook and Twitter. What we do here with this is we create a catalyst for conversation, right? We give you a formula, hot dogs, popcorn, soda, $18. The look on your son's face, right? It's a template for conversation, asking you to say what's priceless to you. Because this campaign was not about what was priceless to MasterCard. This campaign was about what is priceless to all of you. And what this sparked was almost a movement, a global conversation before we even had Friendster. And I dearly miss Friendster. That was my favorite. So this went viral, and it still is today. I mean, I still get this all the time when I tell people I work at MasterCard. The first thing they do is they give me their version of what is priceless to them. And I want to show you just how big this got. So I'm so lucky I get to actually do this, have this as my presentation material. It makes my life very easily. So let's roll this next video.
Trip from the airport, $40. Tip, $8. Trapped in an airless container with a deranged lunatic, priceless.
Yankee tickets were $100. Hairspray tickets $200, but today's show's priceless.
Standing ovation from the enemy is, to quote MasterCard, priceless.
Airline ticket $500, hotel suite $250. Stealing someone's fiance? Priceless.
Number of films with full frontal nudity, 4. Number of films with full sidal nudity, 3. Number of films with rear frontal nudity, priceless.
Polytub, $7.99. Cardboard, $2. Watching Naomi Campbell trip on her way to her car? This is priceless.
Some things in life money can't buy. For everything else, there's this mission statement.
$19 million shortstop gives a $9 ball to a 9-year-old kid in a $15 suit. Priceless.
Obstruction of justice, 10 years in prison. Making false statements, 5 years. Perjury, 5 years. Going to jail with the name Scooter, priceless.
Clothing, $85. Earrings, $30. Coffee, $4. Getting away with murder? Priceless.
The price of admission, $14. A club sandwich at the Rainbow Room, $74.95. Meanwhile, the views, priceless.
Playoff tickets, $80. Beer and a hot dog, $16. Taking a leak on the Angels bullpen, priceless.
The title of Miss USA, it's like the MasterCard commercial. That's what's priceless.
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 Priceless. Priceless.
Priceless.
I love being able to show that. So, and actually I love being able to work with, we have brought the original creative director that worked on that out of retirement to come back and work with us, so it is truly priceless indeed. But I'm not here to talk to you about priceless, and I'm not here to necessarily promote MasterCard, but what I am here to talk about is the cross-section of products and marketing, right? So the barriers to entry to create products, to create software as extensions of your marketing are lower than ever before, right? And through product and marketing excellence, you can create user value that was never before possible. So when I think about products, I think about systems, and when I think about marketing, I think about stories. But today, we have the ability to obscure the lines between these two things, and this will make sense to you in a second when I go on, unpack it a little further for you. So I believe that the best marketing is ideally a product that has the marketing value baked into the product itself, right? And we have the ability to do this. I'll keep going with this thought. So as dreamy as he is, I think that as marketers and advertisers, we can relate less and less to Don these days, right? Don's job was to fabricate stories around and above products, right? When products came to Don, they were already complete. And he fabricated stories that simply made people see the product in a different way, but he didn't actually affect the product itself. He couldn't build systems that extend the product. Like, he didn't have apps to build that could make it better, for example. Now, on the flip side, I think as we can't really relate to Don as much these days, we can relate to Steve. Steve had this uncanny ability to build marketing stories into the products themselves, right? To build the excitement and all of the things that Don did on top of the product into the product itself, right? So Apple always has great advertising, but by and large, most of the advertising is simply showing the product, right? Because there's so much excitement in the user experience of the product itself. And now for my rant on user experience. So experiences are what truly moves people these days. Don could not have fathomed a world beyond his 2D media plane. But today, we have the opportunity to build systems that provide memorable experiences. So I was walking home the other day and I saw this. I had to snap a picture. This was only a couple of days ago, and I thought this was just the perfect example, right? So we see the ad is simply the product itself, and we see someone who actually looks kind of stoned standing there in front of it. I don't know if it's the experience that she's happy about, but you see the example of what I'm talking about. When there's marketing value baked into the product, advertising and marketing actually becomes much more simple because you just need to show it. And in showing the experience, you need to really focus on having a great user experience. And the importance of the user experience designer is so undervalued these days. Do we have any user experience designers here? So we have one. Okay, we're going to have a drink later. The user experience designer, I believe, in this context, there should be more of them here. Right? They shouldn't be relegated with the creatives per se, not that that's a bad thing, but they should be here with us because it's great experiences that move people, and it's the experience designers that have the power to help bake in the things that make us excited, right? So the user experience designer helps make our marketing better. And I truly believe this, that if your marketing is not driven by user experience design, you'll lose in the long term, right? So some of the advertising that's created that simply is very two-dimensional comes and goes. But great experiences could last a long time. So in talking about experiences, I believe that great user experience design yields us some of what we expect of our marketing, right? Awareness, loyalty, this is what we want from our marketing. Well, great experience design can do that for you. And at the same time, I believe that the UX designer doesn't just look at what is, they imagine what could be. The user experience designer is a rare breed, or at least the ones I've had the pleasure of working with, from psychologists to anthropologists to business strategists. The user experience designer has to really be the most cross-functional person in an organization. And I'm seeing that at MasterCard. And I'm seeing how product and marketing are tied together by the glue of the experience designer. So I don't know how many people think about this as often as I do, but you really should. Incidentally, here we see what happens when you have bad user experience design. Really bad things can happen when you have bad user experience design. I mean, like really bad things can happen when you don't, like potentially fatal things if you don't pay attention to your user experience designer, all right? So that's my rant on user experience. I actually think I have a little more for you. This is Donald Norman. Some consider him the godfather of user experience design. He wrote the book, The Design of Everyday Things. I have it on my desk. Larry Page has it on his desk, which is why I have it on my desk. I read it all the time, over and over again, and I highly recommend all of you do as well. Here he is depicted as a madman, and I believe that the user experience designer is in many ways the new madman. So I've talked about a lot, right? I've talked about user experience design. I brought up the notion of value ecosystem and some other things, certainly spoken about MasterCard. But now I want to get a little practical and offer you how this can actually help. So what did I do? I made a checklist for everyone. Very nice of me. So in order to build out this digital value ecosystem that I'm talking about, you first need to know your current ecosystem, right? Makes sense. This is something that I actually keep on hand all the time. So first, listing all your complementers, and this includes both businesses and developers. And there's a couple of terms in here. The ones in quotes are the ones that I make up and use. So you can certainly steal them, but not things you should know. They'll help you define what I'm going to show you in a second as value connectors, okay? Creating a landscape of invention. Now, I know Evan Lazarus of Lasbro, we were talking about this yesterday at his agency. They do this every morning. People call the news and they see what's out there. But you need to know what the landscape of invention, you need to know everything that's out there at all times, because we did talk about the exponential rate of growth in terms of technology, right? And what does this do for you? Well, surveying new technologies that can play a role in adding value to your core products, okay? So number 3 is create a list of alternatives to consumption. And what I mean by that is how can goods and services be, your goods and services be used more effectively or efficiently? I'm going to show you some examples of this. Creating secondary areas of value, right? So unintended consequences or other new areas of value for your products. And finally, what is your data scenario? Now, we spend a lot of time talking about data, and we look very closely at our personal data, the data we're collecting, the type of data we get from the Blue Kais of the world, or I think Datalogics is the sponsor, so I should use them as an example. But what I mean by your data scenario is every piece of data that is spun out by your organization, by your products, can potentially be used to tell a story for your partners, or your complementers. So we're going to go through some of these in very specific examples in the 3 elements of a digital value ecosystem, or the intrinsic market value in things that people actually care about. And that's really what we're talking about at the end of the day, is creating things that people actually want and care about, because that is the best marketing, and people are the most essential part. So here are the 3. Every company is a tech company, and every brand can be a value connector. Brands must be publishers, and products must tell stories. And finally, every brand must have values, and values equal value. So we're going to take a look at some examples of this. So as software continues to eat the world, as Mark Andreessen famously said, and hardware in our pocket becomes increasingly powerful, the nature of our business, the nature of our jobs is changing, right? So the most famous example, and I you know, it's like, what else do you bring up? You have to bring up Nike, right? This was an article in Business Week this past week about Nike being a technology as opposed to a technology company. And Nike has really done a great job of creating this value, this digital value ecosystem. Now, one of the concepts I brought up in alternatives to consumption, right? So the way you usually consume Nike products is through their apparel, right? You use their sneakers, right? But by building this digital values ecosystem around their core products, you certainly don't have to buy the sneakers to use the app or the fuel band, but altogether it creates a value proposition that is much greater, where the sum of the parts, et cetera, right? So Nike has done a great job of building this digital value ecosystem through three things: utility, content, and community. And they've done a phenomenal job. In addition to that, they've done a really good job of looking at their complementors and partners, right? So I don't know how many of you know about this, but Nike partnered up with the incubator Techstars in order for developers to build products on their rails, quote unquote, right? So to build on their platforms and on their products. And what does this do? Well, this creates an air of co-creation, right? So you have people actually creating products based on your products, and those developers then become marketing both for the products that they create on Nike's platform, but they also become marketing for Nike. MasterCard is also doing this. So I mentioned MasterCard is a technology company. So we have our Open API initiative. And this brings up the idea of value connectors. And developers are a key part of our value ecosystem, and bringing them in helps us get our products out, right? So here's a look at our developer center, and where you can see our various APIs that you can build on. How many people knew that MasterCard had a developer center? One. Okay, and it's not like a superficial type of thing. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper here. But having these APIs, what it allows us to do is have complementors come to us, because we're building the best, safest, most secure payment technologies in the world, and we're creating APIs that anybody can use. So people can come to developers.mastercard.com and actually use our products. And if you don't believe me, here's a list of some of our APIs. This is a few of them here. We have APIs for all sorts of things that developers can come and build on MasterCard technology. Now, if you're going to build payment into your application, whose technology do you want to use? You want to use this, arguably, of course, the safest, most secure, fastest, and you is here somewhere, and network in the world. So these are the APIs that you want to be looking at, right? And what happens here? Well, the marriage of developer love and brand marketing, bringing the two together, is a priceless thing. So a lot of companies are becoming technology companies, and again, alternatives to consumption. So when you want to consume a Walgreens product, or Walgreens as a product, what do? You go to Walgreens, you buy your toothpaste, right? You get your prescriptions filled. You don't usually think of them as anything else, but they are, in fact, now a technology company. So they've created a quick prints and prescription API. So two APIs. Their Quick Prints API allows any developer to come in and say, I'm building this photo app, but in my app, I'm also going to allow you to send it to Walgreens and have it printed, right? So this is yet another way that you can consume Walgreens as a product, right? So adding value to Walgreens and to the consumer and building out this digital value ecosystem. Is this making sense, this concept of building this digital value ecosystem? I see at least one head nodding. So MasterCard is building out, as this is our flagship of our digital value ecosystem, MasterPass. And again, like some of the examples that I showed you, when you see the power of what MasterPass is, it almost does the marketing for itself when the experience of it shows you how it makes your life better. So let's roll this video.
Today's consumers are leading a more connected digital lifestyle. And for all the ways we now can pay, from plastic to tap and go to digital wallets, the digital world has also transformed shopping. Now every device is becoming a shopping device. But we all want it to just work, no matter where we are or what device we're on. MasterCard is doing just that, making digital payments more seamless and secure, from any device, anywhere, with one simple experience, with MasterPass. MasterPass brings together, as never before, all of the ways we pay for things digitally, and unlocks new shopping experiences online, at the register, in the aisle, or on the go. Let's say you're on the train or at a ball game. MasterPass allows you to make a payment on whatever device you choose, at the touch of a button. When you're shopping from the comfort of your home, you can quickly check out with a simple tap, click, or touch, since your payment card and shipping address is stored in MasterPass. No more entering information manually or trying to type on small touch screens. From beginning to end, MasterPass is also enriching the shopping experience with real-time alerts, account balances, and priceless offers. It's the future of shopping on the world's fastest, most secure payments network. MasterCard, shaping the future of digital payments.
Some great technology coming out of MasterCard. And I actually saw this example. I was about done with this presentation, and I was on the treadmill the other day, and I saw a commercial for this thing from Time Warner called Intelligent Home. Has anyone heard of this thing, Intelligent Home? I don't know, I can't speak to the product, but the strategy is actually very brilliant, and it plays into some of the things that we're talking about. So what Intelligent Home is it allows you to control various different elements within your home, from a website, from mobile, etc., from the temperature to the lights to security. And the brilliance here is a fewfold, right? Time Warner is already in your house controlling your cable. Why not control everything else? Right? So when we're talking about secondary areas of value, other things you can do when you're already in a position to do them, Time Warner has gone ahead and done that. They've actually taken advantage of that. In addition, they have various sensors. So someone is doing what I refer to as the landscape of invention. All of these sensors embedded in your home, combined with software, make for this beautiful value ecosystem. And then when you're done with all this, at the end of the day, what does the TV spot need to be, other than simply showing it? Right? That's all the TV spot needs to be. It's a thing of brilliance that takes care of your whole home, all in one great package. It's the experience of it that actually serves as the advertising. So this right here is, we saw a little bit of this. I want to roll this really quickly. It's another product from MasterCard that exhibits us using technology. Earlier I mentioned the difference between invention and innovation, right? So I think we're probably all on board that we hate QR codes, right? People don't like them here anymore. Right? We don't like QR codes. Well, I think the problem was a lot of people jumped in and used them in ways that didn't make any sense. But there are creative ways to use the same technology or the same invention in an innovative way. So we're going to roll this really quick. This is a really innovative use of QR codes and payment technology. And this is quicker from MasterCard. So let's roll this one.
With Quicker, you'd never have to miss the action. So on the back of the seat in front of you, you'll notice a QR code that starts your Quicker experience. So you take your smartphone, you open the camera, and I'll just scan the QR code I have right here. So after you scan the QR code in the back of the seat, up will pop the Yankee Stadium menu for your section. So as you go through the menu, you look at it and say, you know, what's a ball game without peanuts? So I'm going to order peanuts, and I'm going to add that to my cart. Another game staple that you have to have is a hot dog, so I'm going to add a hot dog to my cart. And it's a warm summer day, so of course I'm going to order a cold beverage. So all these items rest in my cart, so I just simply open my cart, and you'll see I have my payment through MasterPass. If I want, I could tap on that, and I can go through a number of my preloaded cards, whether I have credit, debit, I have a rewards card here. But today I'm going to use credit. So I just simply swipe to pay, and you'll see that my order's been submitted. Reference number is 17, and back at Yankee Stadium concession stand, you notice here my orders popped up. So the servers are ready to assemble the order. I get a discount of $16 using Quicker, and my order should be at my seat in 5 minutes. The concessionaire could just tap when the order is ready, and they work on the next order. So if you see with Quicker, not only is it great for in-seat shopping, but there's a number of experiences and utilities that we have for Quicker. It's really about the experience. It's just more than just using your phone for payment. It's about the experience when we provide value before, during, and after a payment.
So let me just show you how this works. So I tap on the timeline card here, and a number of options come up where I can eat nearby, I can buy nearby. So let me just show you eat nearby. So I'm hungry, I want to buy a sandwich, I want to grab a drink. So what I did was there, I selected that, and what I'm waiting for is a beep to come in for Google to say, hey, I found the merchants nearby. There's the beep. And here's places to eat nearby. So they've been served up by Quicker. So I tap into this and I see a number of merchants. Now these are real merchants. These are merchants that are live today. And if I tap on this, it also gives me a map on how to get there. So I'm the blue dot and there's the merchant there in the red, in the orange marker. And that's one of the cool things about the Quicker platform, in that the merchants have a self-service tool where they can configure discounts broadly or on specific products. So I'll tap into this. And what's happening now is that I'm asking Quicker via Google Glass to give me the menu for ground coffee. I'll add a cappuccino. I add that to cart, so I just tap to add it to cart. And I'll add a Snickers. Add that to cart. So when I check out, this gives me the option to purchase these goods using my MasterPass wallet. I'll pick my credit card. I just tap and tap to pay. And the cool thing is about Glass is that I'll get that notification here on Glass, as you see on the screen here. Your order is ready. Please drop by and pick up your food. See you soon, Oren.
All right, so building on our technology background, we're doing some really cool things on the cutting edge of innovation. Another innovation coming out of MasterCard, if you download this month's Wired to your iPad, Shop This, which is a MasterCard product in incubation. Shop This with MasterPass is now embedded in Wired, so if you see something in the magazine, you can easily click on it and buy it. So some really interesting things. And finally, our MasterCard audiences. Dinner last night was sponsored by MasterCard Advisors, which is not the group that I'm in. It's actually somewhat coincidental that we're both here. It wasn't planned this way, but dinner last night was provided by them. They are one of the sponsors. And they're working on their audience product. Now, I believe that every action has an equal or greater interaction in a digital world, right? And every interaction spins off data, right? So this data is something that as MasterCard we're currently using in an aggregated and anonymous way in our audience product, right? So integrating online and offline insights and creating models. And the advisors team is here. If you want to learn more about this, come speak to me and I will probably just point you to them, because I'm not the expert in terms of what Advisors is doing, but I did mention this notion of data scenario and adding value to your business and to your business partners, creating this digital value ecosystem. So number two in the three things of creating this digital value ecosystem is every brand must be a publisher, right? Now, in this world where content creation is growing exponentially, you need to be found. And I like to say that as a brand these days, you are how you're found, right? Because that is the essence of what you mean to people. So the question then becomes, how are we getting found, right? So we're working on numerous initiatives. Here's one thing that I'm working on right now. It's called LoveThisCity.com. It's a blog that allows people to hear about experiences and bring them closer to the cities they live in and the cities they love. This is, we've put together a team of editors that are working on this, and this becomes an ownable asset by MasterCard, and it also connects consumers and merchants, and we become the center of the value ecosystem in this case with this initiative. Another content creation area is our newsroom. So our wonderful communications team has reimagined what a newsroom could be, using all different types of multimedia elements to tell our story, to tell the story of a world beyond cash, and to tell people and news bodies all about what MasterCard stands for. So creating this content so people could find us in this world that is a sea of a lot of content. And finally, number three is every brand must have values, right? Now, I think we're probably all on board with the need for transparency in the age of social media, right? It's almost just a given, right? But we're closer than ever before to our consumers, right? We're almost standing right next to them on the other side of a mobile or computer terminal. So the need to have an active voice and to actually stand for something is an imperative, because if you don't stand for something, in this day and age, you stand for nothing, right? So having values is something that is very important, and MasterCard certainly has that. And I had the pleasure of working on an initiative this year called Acceptance Matters. Now, you can probably guess what the pun is here, the two sides. As a company that processes payments, it's very important for us to be accepted because that's how we make money. But if we're really going to embody that as one of our core values, we need to embody it from every angle, right? So this is a campaign that we ran. It's actually still running. This is us in the Pride Parade in New York. It was a phenomenal day, and it really was meaningful. And we had these jumbotrons and on this cart, and you were able to actually tweet acceptance matters and say, again, why acceptance matters to you, the people that are the center of our digital value ecosystem. And it showed up on these boards. That's J.R. Beatty, and he runs digital in the US at MasterCard. He did a phenomenal job with this. And all sorts of people were getting involved. All sorts of people were getting involved. We actually gave out these posters that allowed people to write why acceptance matters to them. So at the end of the day, I've shown you a whole lot of things, right? A lot of different technologies, a lot about MasterCard, some of my personal theories. But at the end of the day, this ecosystem that I'm talking about is all centered around people, right? And I think no matter what innovations we come up with and great ideas, it's the people using them that are the most important. So at the end of the day, it's people that are truly priceless in building your digital value ecosystem. So with that, I want to thank you for letting me take some of your time. And, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait. Did I seem like I was intentional, the oh, wait a minute thing? Because that was rehearsed. One more thing. So MasterCard actually just did a study on people's attitudes towards the use of their data and sharing. And you've just listened to me talk for 40 minutes. So rather than me tell you about it, I'm going to have our own Nicole Ward tell you about it right now.
Hey, Nicole Ward here in MasterCard's Conversation Suite talking about digital sharing. What do we have in common when we share personal information online, and why do we do it? Your digital DNA revealed on this edition of Morning Brew. Has anyone ever talked to you about your digital DNA or online persona? We all have one, and now MasterCard has produced a study that shows us who we are. Take a look. The Digital Sharing and Trust Study reveals 5 personas: open sharers, simply interactors, solely shoppers, passive users, and proactive protectors. Sounds like superheroes. Not sure which one you are? Well, you can take the quiz yourself. Over 1,500 people already have. It's easy.
Only share information about yourself online when you know how it will be used.
Disagree.
You're aware that social media sites use the information people share to select tailored ads for them.
Well, no, because you can ask
Strongly aware of that. Strongly agree.
I took it. I'm a Simply Interactor, which is interesting to me as a consumer, but for merchants, knowing these 5 online personas will help them better market themselves, better communicate with the consumers that they're trying to reach. So if you want to know more, maybe take the quiz yourself. Go to the address right there at the bottom of your screen, and would love to know the results. Tweet us at MasterCard News, #Morning Brew, if you're comfortable with that.
So everyone got the URL there, 5 personas. It was 5personas.mastercard.com, and I thought it would be a lot of fun if people find out what persona they are and tweet out, what was the hashtag? The hashtag 5personas and hashtag iMedia Summit, and share with all of us what persona you are. So now I'm really saying thank you.
All right. Let's hear it for Adam. Thank you so much.